Making the platter or coaster holder for my recycled record coasters, I'm going to use the big fly cutter here, set to a pleasing oversize, and mine is oversized by about half an inch, and I've picked a really nice piece of figured maple, which should give me an attractive look. When I went to set the cutter, I was careful that the cutter head overlaps slightly this other hole. While the actual cutting point never leaves the wood, the hole will overlap. And so as it builds sawdust, this will give it a place to vent that. I'm also turning it a little faster than normal, and not that I'm recommending this, it does make the project go a little smoother. Make sure your cutters are sharp. That's important. Okay, so my helper and I have cut a selection of these, because if you're going to do one and take the time to set it up, you might as well mass produce. I've got some wormy oak. Got some nice staining on it. I've got this really thin but rather plain grained black walnut that I hope will stand out nicely. And of course I have my original fire maple that I have high hopes for. So now it's just a matter of preparing them. Some of these, they're thick enough, nice enough, I'll put a nice routed decorated edge. These, a little thinner, they're basically, heck, that side's already finished, they're basically already ready to go. A little staining, a little sanding, a little smoothing, and of course, inputting the stand. The oak is somewhere in between. I believe I'll go with the decorative edge on that as well. You want to keep it? Okay, you can have that. Yeah, blow it off. First though, I just need to set up the router table to do the edges, and then drill the stands. Alright, so I have the router set, and we're just going to put a simple little sort of cove around the outside edge. I'm not recommending you do this. These are awful small pieces. Know your own limits. Be careful. I don't consider it a dangerous stretch for me, but to each their own. Gotta put her ears on. Okay. Good job. It's kind of a hunt and peck thing. I don't actually like it. I want it to be a little deeper. So I'm going to reset and do again. Now that I like better. And what I'm hoping is that you can just pick up that bottom coaster. Putting the center stud in isn't very hard at all. It's just a matter of finding a dowel that is the right size. Now you might wonder why I didn't just go ahead and leave my pilot in my fly cutter. And it's because the pilot I have is far too large. So I'm just going to put the disc on, center it, drill it, and you're good to go. Basically center it up by feel, mark it, and drill the appropriate size. Is somebody getting tired? When it's time to cut off your sticks, your studs, whatever you want to call them, use a jig and a handsaw, because doweling like this is just too tiny to cut successfully on the saw. Not that it'll kill you or anything, it's just it's probably going to chip and break and shatter and shoot across the room. So this is easier. glue up is super simple, just a dab of glue. I am going to put it on basically a small stick, wipe it around down inside. Done. Even though I really prefer a clear, I know that the person who's going to get this is a fan of stain. So I'm going to go ahead and stain them all up, and I'm just using a decent Minwax, and then give it its 8 hours or whatever to dry before attempting to put any finish or any of the felt on. This is a wormy oak that I salvaged from the inside of a 1920s store display cabinet, I believe is what it was. So it has a few nail holes and some iron staining. That just adds to its character. And the finished products with a little bit of clear sealer on them. And these I did all Columbia records, so this one will match. And on the back I've just got felt glued on. Punched a hole out in the middle. Not really showing to their best appearance. Got some funny light in here. But anyways, that's how they work. It's a really neat sort of trendy hipster gift, I think. It was a nice use for records that were basically unplayable and were otherwise just going to be scrapped. Though it's a lot harder to cut records than I thought it would be. Thanks for watching.